So first of all, organizational capability. And what this slide suggests is that intensified competition, growing access to financial capital, work that is ever more knowledge-based, are all leading to new opportunities for a company to compete. And for those of you in the public and the voluntary sector, I'd simply like to ask you please to translate this point about competition, competitiveness, both now and other points in the presentation that I may refer to it, as simply meaning the ability of an organisation to transform the services that it provides to its customers or stakeholders. So it's about going beyond doing things more efficiently or doing things more effectively to doing better things. And most of you and most of your chief executives will be familiar with the concepts around competitive strategy, competitive positioning, particularly Harvard professor Michael Porter's ideas around differentiation, focus, cost leadership. And people management within that perspective, which is at the bottom of this slide here, is a secondary activity, a supporting activity. And because of that, the HR function, as we all know, very often ends up being a bit of a strategic backwater. And to me, the opportunity for HR to take a more significant role in the organisation started to emerge in the early 1990s with the realisation that an organisation's own resources, its core competencies, provide it with an essential means of transformation and competition. So core competencies are based partly upon people's skills and abilities. And this does start to provide HR with more leverage. But they're also, and probably even more, about particular business processes, use of technology, customer loyalty. So Hamel and Prahalad, for example, who introduced the concept of core competencies, described 3M's core competency as specialist expertise in substrates, coatings and adhesives, not the ability of 3M's people to innovate new products within these areas, which is the attributes that I've described that, to me, are behind 3M's success. So people are part of core competencies, but they're still a small part. So it does give HR a more central role, but it's still very easy to see other functions as yet more important. And then at the top of this slide, we have organizational capability. And that builds upon the idea of core competency by recognizing that it is people and the way that people are managed and developed that provides the main source of competitive advantage to organizations. And we will come and have a look at what that means for the role, the effectiveness of HR later in the presentation. And I think there is a growing perspective that the further along this arrow, the higher up the slide, the more sustainable and the more successful the source of competitive advantage becomes. You know, life's just too complicated these days. There's too much change for any external positioning to offer a competitive advantage which is anything other than elusive and fleeting. Whereas organizational capability provides a very sustainable approach to business strategy.